Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about a concept that's deceptively simple, yet deeply transformative, destroying your enemy without fighting. I know it sounds like a contradiction, right? But stay with me. This isn't about war or violence. It's about strategy, integrity, and the power of human connection. We all face conflicts. Maybe it's a difficult colleague at work, a strained relationship, or even our own internal struggles. Our instincts often tell us to fight back, to win at all costs. But what if the most profound victories aren't about domination, but transformation? What if the real power lies in neutralizing conflict without ever raising a fist or a voice? Have you ever been in a conflict where emotions were running so high that you couldn't see a way forward? Maybe the argument wasn't just about the issue at hand, it was about everything beneath it: misunderstandings, assumptions, and old wounds. This is where clarity becomes your superpower. Clarity is the ability to strip away all the noise, drama, and emotional fog to focus on what truly matters. It's not just about knowing the facts, it's about understanding the context, the motivations, and most importantly, the truth both about the situation and about yourself. Here's the thing: when you lack clarity, you react impulsively. You might lash out, escalate the conflict, or even retreat into silence, feeling defeated. But clarity allows you to step back and ask the most important questions. What's really happening here? Why is this person acting this way? What am I feeling and why? What outcome am I truly seeking? Think about this: most conflicts aren't about the surface issue. That snippy email from your coworker might not be about the project delay, it could be about their fear of losing control. That argument with your partner might not be about forgetting to take out the trash, it might be about feeling unappreciated. Clarity allows you to see beyond the symptoms and address the root cause. How do you cultivate clarity? Pause before reacting. In the heat of the moment, our emotions hijack us. Take a deep breath, count to 10, or step away if you need to. That small pause creates space for clarity to emerge. It's in that space where you can discern whether you're about to make things better or worse. Seek to understand, not to win. Too often, we enter conflicts with a mindset of winning. But clarity requires curiosity. Ask questions. Try to understand the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Understanding doesn't mean you condone their behavior, it means you're gathering information to make a more informed decision. Check your own biases. Sometimes our own assumptions cloud the truth. Are you interpreting someone's actions through the lens of past conflicts? Are you projecting your insecurities onto the situation? Clarity demands that you examine your own role in the conflict with honesty and humility. Focus on the bigger picture. In the moment, it's easy to get stuck on the petty details or the need to be right. Clarity reminds us to zoom out. What's your ultimate goal? Is this fight worth the emotional energy, or is there a more constructive way to resolve it? The power of clarity. When you operate from a place of clarity, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. You become less vulnerable to manipulation, less swayed by emotions, and more grounded in your values. Clarity allows you to see through the fog of conflict and find a path forward that aligns with your integrity. And here's the magic of it: clarity doesn't just benefit you. When you approach a conflict with calm and understanding, you create an environment where the other person feels less threatened and more open. Your clarity becomes contagious. In the end, clarity is what transforms conflict into opportunity. It allows you to see your enemy not as someone to defeat, but as someone to understand or even someone to help. And that's where the real power lies. Conflict often creates a wall between people, a barrier made of misunderstanding, mistrust, and unmet needs. When someone becomes your enemy, they seem like an obstacle to your peace, success, or happiness. The natural instinct is to push back, to break through that wall with force. But what if I told you that the way to dismantle resistance is not by force, but by connection? Connection is a powerful, almost magical tool. It has the ability to transform adversaries into allies, to shift the dynamics of a situation without a single harsh word. When you choose to connect with someone, even someone you view as your enemy, you disarm them. You take away their reason to fight, not through manipulation, but by seeing and acknowledging their humanity. Let's unpack why connection is so effective in dismantling resistance and explore how to cultivate it, even in the most challenging circumstances. Why connection works. At the heart of resistance is fear of being misunderstood, fear of losing control, fear of being disrespected or devalued. When people resist you, they're often protecting something they hold dear, their pride, their identity, or their sense of safety. Connection works because it meets these fears head on. Connection reduces threat when someone feels genuinely seen and heard. Their fight or flight response diminishes. They're less likely to view you as an adversary and more likely to engage in constructive dialogue. Connection builds trust. Resistance often stems from a lack of trust. By connecting with someone, you signal that you're not here to attack or dominate, you're here to understand and collaborate. Connection opens the door to empathy. It's hard to resist someone who genuinely cares about your perspective and feelings. Empathy creates a bridge where walls once stood. How to cultivate connection and conflict. Approach with curiosity, not judgment. One of the biggest barriers to connection is the assumption that you already know everything about the other person's intentions or feelings. Instead of labeling them as wrong or difficult, approach the situation with genuine curiosity. Ask open-ended questions. What's important to you in this situation? Can you help me understand where you're coming from? These questions show that you value their perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Listen to understand, not to respond. True connection requires active listening. Too often, we listen just long enough to formulate our counterarguments. But when you listen to understand without interrupting, correcting, or defending, you create space for the other person to lower their guard. A simple phrase like, "I hear you. That must be really challenging," can shift the tone of an entire conversation. Acknowledge their feelings and needs. Validation doesn't mean agreement. It means recognizing that their feelings and needs are real, even if their behavior isn't ideal. Saying something like, "It sounds like you're frustrated because you feel overlooked," can go a long way in dismantling resistance. Be willing to share vulnerability. Connection is a two-way street. When you show your own vulnerability, whether it's admitting a mistake, expressing your feelings, or acknowledging your limitations, you invite the other person to do the same. Vulnerability fosters trust and mutual respect. Focus on common ground. No matter how different your perspectives may seem, there's almost always something you can agree on. Maybe it's a shared goal like solving a problem or improving a situation. Highlighting common ground shifts the dynamic from me vs. you to us vs you. The transformative power of connection. When you prioritize connection, something incredible happens. The person who was once your enemy starts to feel less like a threat and more like a partner. The walls of resistance begin to crumble, not because you force them down, but because you've shown the other person that they don't need those walls anymore. Connection doesn't mean you have to agree with everything the other person says or does. It doesn't mean you sacrifice your boundaries or your values. What it means is that you lead with humanity. You see the person, not just the problem. And here's the beauty of it: when you connect, you often find that the resistance you were fighting wasn't about you at all. It was about their fear, their pain, or their unmet needs. By dismantling resistance through connection, you don't just resolve conflict, you heal it. Connection is not a weakness. It's the ultimate strength. It's the quiet, steady power that turns conflict into collaboration and enemies into allies. When we think of boundaries, we often imagine them as walls, hard, unyielding barriers that separate us from others. And while it's true that boundaries create limits, they are not meant to isolate or divide. In fact, healthy boundaries serve a very different purpose. They act as bridges, not walls. A bridge connects two sides while still maintaining clear distinctions. It allows for interaction, understanding, and respect without the risk of enmeshment or overstepping. Boundaries, when set with intention and care, protect your peace and integrity while fostering healthier relationships. They create space for trust, collaboration, and mutual respect to flourish. Let's delve into what this means and how you can build boundaries that strengthen rather than sever your connections. What makes a boundary a bridge? Boundaries define, they don't divide. A wall says, stay away. A bridge says, here's how we can safely connect when you set a boundary. You're not rejecting someone or shutting them out. You're clarifying how they can engage with you in a way that's respectful and sustainable. For example, a wall response, I don't want to talk to you about this. Leave me alone. A bridge response, I need some time to process this. Can we revisit it tomorrow? The difference lies in tone and intention. A bridge invites connection under healthier terms. Boundaries protect, not punish. Healthy boundaries are not about controlling or punishing others. They're about honoring your own needs while respecting theirs. They ensure that you don't lose yourself in the process of trying to please or appease others. For example, in a work setting, saying, I'm happy to help, but I need advance notice for big projects protects your time without vilifying the person asking for help. Boundaries are rooted in self-awareness. To build a bridge, you need to know where you stand. This requires understanding your own needs, values, and limits. When you're clear about what you can and cannot accept, you can communicate your boundaries with confidence and compassion. A boundary that comes from self-awareness sounds like this. I value our friendship, but I need to let you know that I can't be your go-to person for late night venting anymore. I hope we can find a way to support each other that works for both of us. How to build boundaries that connect, not isolate. You communicate clearly and kindly. The way you express a boundary can determine whether it feels like a wall or a bridge. Be direct, but use language that conveys respect and care. Avoid accusations or ultimatums. Instead of saying, you're always taking advantage of me, try, I've realized I need to be more mindful of my own commitments, so I won't be able to help with this project. Be consistent without rigidity. A bridge needs to be strong, but it also needs some flexibility to adapt to different circumstances. Stick to your boundaries, but be open to dialogue if the situation calls for it. For example, I usually don't take work calls after hours, but I understand this is an emergency. Let's address it now and work on setting clearer expectations moving forward. Allow for mutual respect. Boundaries are not just about your needs, they're about creating a dynamic where both parties feel respected. When you communicate your boundaries, encourage others to express theirs too. This fosters a sense of balance and collaboration. Practice saying no without guilt. Bridges don't carry endless weight, they have limits. Saying no when something crosses your boundaries is an act of self-respect. Remember, a well-maintained boundary prevents resentment and ensures that the connection remains healthy. Why boundaries strengthen relationships. At first, setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable, especially if the other person is not used to them. But over time, healthy boundaries lead to stronger, more authentic connections. Here's why. Boundaries prevent burnout by protecting your energy and time. You show up fully in your relationships without feeling drained or resentful. Boundaries build trust. When you're clear about your limits, others know where they stand with you. This predictability fosters trust and mutual respect. Boundaries encourage growth. They challenge people to take responsibility for their actions and respect the needs of others, creating healthier dynamics for everyone involved. The transformative power of boundaries. Imagine a relationship where you feel safe to be yourself, where your needs are honored, and where the other person feels the same. This is what boundaries as bridges can achieve. When you approach boundaries with compassion, you're not building a fortress to keep people out. You're building pathways that allow for meaningful, respectful connection. You're saying, I care about this relationship enough to ensure it's healthy for both of us. Boundaries are an act of love for yourself and for the people in your life. They protect what's sacred while leaving space for connection to thrive. So let your boundaries be the bridges that bring you closer to peace, balance, and harmony in every area of your life. In a culture that celebrates competition and winning, conflict often feels like a zero-sum game. If one person wins, the other must lose. This mindset drives many of our actions, especially in disagreements or power struggles. We fight to be right, to prove our point, to come out on top. But what if the real victory isn't about defeating someone else? What if it's about creating a resolution that benefits everyone involved? Redefining the win requires shifting your perspective. It's not about crushing your opponent. It's about finding solutions, fostering growth, and maintaining integrity. It's about rising above petty battles to achieve something more meaningful and lasting. Let's unpack this idea and explore how you can apply it in life and conflict. Why redefining the win matters. Winning at all costs can be Pyrrhic. A Pyrrhic victory is one where the cost of winning is so high that it hardly feels like a win at all. Think about a heated argument where you win by proving your point, but in the process damage the relationship. True success doesn't leave destruction in its wake. It creates something better than what was there before. The win isn't always what you think it is. Sometimes the thing you're fighting for isn't the real issue. For example, a disagreement over tasks at work might not actually be about who's right or wrong. It might be about feeling valued or respected. When you dig deeper, you often find that the win isn't about the surface level argument, but about addressing the underlying needs and concerns. Collaboration is more powerful than confrontation. In many cases, the best outcome is one where both parties feel heard and respected. This is especially true in relationships, teams, and communities. When you redefine the win as a shared victory, you create stronger connections and more sustainable solutions. How to redefine the win. Start with the end in mind. Ask yourself, what's my ultimate goal in this situation? Often, the real goal isn't to win the argument, it's to solve a problem, protect a relationship, or achieve a specific outcome. By focusing on your true objective, you can avoid getting sidetracked by ego or emotion. For example, instead of thinking, I need to prove I'm right, reframe it as, I want us to find the best solution for this issue. Instead of focusing on blame, think, how can we ensure this doesn't happen again? See conflict as an opportunity. Conflict isn't inherently bad. It's a chance to learn, grow, and deepen understanding. When you approach disagreements with this mindset, the win becomes less about dominating and more about discovery. Try asking questions like, what can I learn from this situation? How can this conflict make our relationship stronger? Focus on long-term gains. A short-term victory can sometimes jeopardize long-term success. For instance, winning an argument with a client might cost you their trust and future business. Redefining the win means looking at the bigger picture and prioritizing outcomes that align with your values and goals over time. Create space for compromise. Compromise isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength and maturity. When both sides are willing to meet in the middle, the outcome is often better than what either party could have achieved alone. This requires flexibility and a willingness to let go of rigid definitions of winning. We measure success differently. Shift your definition of success. Instead of asking, did I win, ask, did I act with integrity? Did we solve the problem in a way that respects everyone involved? Did I learn or grow from this experience? When you measure success by these standards, you redefine the win as something deeper and more fulfilling. Examples of redefining the win in relationships. A couple argues about household responsibilities. Redefining the win means moving beyond who's right to creating a plan that feels fair and supportive for both partners. The goal shifts from winning the argument to strengthening the partnership. at work. The team is divided over how to approach a project. Instead of competing for whose idea gets chosen, redefining the win means finding a hybrid solution that leverages everyone's strengths and satisfies the project's goals. In personal growth, you face criticism from a colleague. Instead of focusing on defending yourself or proving them wrong, you redefine the win by using the feedback as an opportunity to improve and demonstrate resilience. The benefits of redefining the win. Preserves relationships. When the win is redefined as mutual success, relationships grow stronger instead of being damaged by conflict. People feel respected, valued, and understood. Fosters innovation. A win-win mindset encourages creativity and collaboration. By seeking solutions that benefit everyone, you often discover new possibilities you hadn't considered before. Builds emotional intelligence. Redefining the win requires self-awareness, empathy, and a willingness to look beyond ego. These skills enhance your ability to navigate conflict in all areas of life. Create sustainable outcomes. Short-term wins can lead to long-term problems. Redefining the win ensures that solutions are fair, respectful, and built to last. The transformative power of a redefined win. When you redefine the win, you transform the way you approach conflict. You move from a mindset of scarcity, where one person's gain is another's loss, to a mindset of abundance, where everyone has the opportunity to succeed. This isn't about being passive or letting others take advantage of you. It's about choosing a higher path, one where success is measured not by how many battles you've won, but by the strength of the bridges you've built and the peace you've created. Redefine the win. And you'll discover that true victory isn't about defeating others, it's about rising above the conflict and finding a way forward together. Let me leave you with this thought: winning doesn't have to mean leaving others behind. It doesn't have to mean proving someone wrong or dominating a situation. True victory lies in your ability to rise above conflict, act with integrity, and prioritize connection over competition. When you redefine the win, you're choosing a path of growth, collaboration, and lasting success. You're not just solving problems, you're building bridges, fostering understanding, and creating a legacy of strength and passion. So the next time you're faced with a challenge, ask yourself, what does winning truly mean here? When you shift your perspective, you'll find that the most powerful victories are the ones that leave everyone involved better, stronger, and more connected. Because in the end, the greatest win isn't about beating someone else, it's about lifting us all higher.